Have you ever been in a moment while streaming that you get a raid from someone that you really admire, or that person just comes in to visit on their off time, and you want to give a shout out, but your mods aren't there, and you're in a really intense moment in the game and you can't do it yourself? What if there was a way that we could automate that? Well, that's what we're doing today. And it's actually much simpler than you would think. So the first thing that we need to do is create two global variables, one of which holds the streamers that we want to shout out whenever they jump in, which we will call this variable supported streamers. We want this to be equal to an array with a list of strings containing the names of the streamers that we want to support, which I will just copy and paste in my own list here. And if you're looking for good people to follow and hang out with, I would recommend each one of the people that you see in this list. So now that we have this, now that we have the list of the people that we want to support, what we also need to do is create another constant called shouted out streamers. And this will hold all of the streamers that have been shouted out within the stream that we are currently running. We want this to be equal to an empty array. And the way that this is going to work is whenever a streamer that we are supporting within this list comes in and says anything within the chat for the first time, that streamer will automatically get a shout out from the bot. And if they speak again, it will not give a shout out after that. And we also want to have a variable that can change, and we're going to call it shoutout start time. And what this is going to do, we're going to have this set to a Boolean of false. And what this is going to do is this is going to track essentially when the stream starts, and it's going to set this to a time 20 minutes past when the stream starts. So what it'll do is it'll wait to give any shoutouts until 20 minutes after the stream starts, so that it gives people within your community time to jump in, so that whenever that person gets their shout out, it will actually provide them with value instead of just having a shout out to an empty room, which does you or them no good. So now to actually do the shout out, what we need to do is we need to come down to our chat message handler. And I will leave links in the description to previous videos where we actually set up the stuff prior to what you're seeing here to, fill in the gaps you may have missed. So what we're going to do is, before we even set up our word array, what we're going to do is we are going to set up a conditional. And this conditional is going to have three conditions. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if the current time is past the 20-minute mark of the shout out start time. So what we're going to say is we want to say if the new date and a new date object just simply gives you the current time, the current date and time, minus the shout out start time. If this is greater than 0, that means it's past the shout out start time. So it means that we are eligible to give out a shout out. And if the person that just spoke is within the supported streamers array, so we're going to say if the supported streamers array includes the user state dot username, like so, and if the streamers that we have not shouted out yet, if the streamer that just spoke is not within the shouted out streamers array, so we're going to say if not, so the exclamation point for not, shouted out streamers includes the user state dot username, like this. If all of these conditions are met, then what we're going to do, well, first we will bring these conditions down for readability. And what we'll do is we will first have the chatbot say to the channel that, and we're going to start this off as a string, we love, then we're going to have an @ sign because we want to tag the streamer, and then plus the user state and then square brackets, because we can't actually do a dot notation with the attribute that I'm about to give. So the display name, display dash name, actually, like this. So the difference between a username and a display name is that the username is always in all lowercase. So you'll notice whenever I put in the list of supported streamers, that list, every person's name is in lowercase. And that's on purpose because that's just easier to match, which is what the username is. The username is in all lowercase every time. And the display name has the appropriate capitalizations for what that person's name looks like within the Twitch chat. So we want to have the proper capitalization for the shout out within chat, but for whenever we're checking the actual name, we want it to be in all lowercase. So the username for the checks and the display name for the chat, at least for whenever you're tagging them. We're going to say plus, and then space right here because it's going to be another word around here. So we're just going to say, we love this person around here. Go check out their stream at twitch.tv/ and then we want to put a space. Oh, sorry, we're going to put another plus right here. And then we're going to say user state dot username like this. So what this is going to do is it's going to shout them out within the chat with their proper capitalization. So let me bring this down for readability. And then it's going to create their Twitch link by saying twitch.tv/ and then using their username, which is all in lowercase, to create the link for the chat. And this is how you give the automatic shout out. And then what you want to do is after the bot has given the shout out in chat, what we want to do is we want to say shoutoutsstreamers.push, and we want to push the user state.username to the shouted out streamers array so that whenever that streamer speaks again, they will not get a second shout out and the chat just doesn't get spammed with constant shout outs for that streamer. And if you wanted to just do this without the wait timer, all you'd have to do is just do this right here and have the 2 checks instead of 3, and this would work as soon as your stream starts. But because I want to have this work only 20 minutes after the stream starts, we want to have the shouted out, sorry, I have the error right here. We want to have this as new date minus shout out time, shout out start time. Good thing I caught that. So if we want to have this start 20 minutes after the stream starts, we keep this. If not, you can just get rid of it. And in order to get the shout out start time, what you want to do is you want to go down to your event sub callback route, which I'll again leave links to all of this in the description. And you want to add a conditional right before you do anything else. So you want to say if the event body subscription type is equal to a string of stream.online, which is what gives your bot the indication that your stream has actually started. And if your shoutout start time is equal to false, which is what we initially set it at, what we want to do is, if this is true, we want to set the shoutout start time to the current date and time. So you just say a new date. And then what you want to do is you want to say the shoutout start time dot set minutes. And we want to set the minutes of the current shoutout time to what the shoutout start time's current minutes are. So shoutout start time dot get minutes plus 20. And you may be wondering why I have this as part of the condition within our initial check. So the reason that we do this is to make the bot more fault tolerant. And by that, what I mean is, if the stream was to die and then come back on, say your internet dies or Twitch has problems, and you get a second stream online event from Twitch. We only want this to be set once whenever the stream starts. So what this does is it ensures that this will only run once, because once the shoutout start time is set to a new date, and then the minutes are set 20 minutes past that, this will no longer be false. It will have an actual value. So even if we get a second stream online event notification, we will still be working from the initial time that our stream started, so that we don't end up having to potentially have delayed shoutouts again after that, which could be inconvenient for everyone involved. And that, for as simple as it is how you create a automatic shoutout system for the streamers that you want to support automatically within your chat. In the next video, we are going to play with the idea of custom alerts that are controlled directly by chat. Now, what does that mean? You're going to have to click the video link somewhere on the screen, probably right above my head, and find out. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.